Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the WiX Online Meeting 296. I guess it's June 18th. It's kind of gloomy here. I guess that's June for us. Kids are still in the school, but not for much longer. And we're doing a WiX meeting like we always do every third Wednesday of the month, because that's what we do here. These meetings are recorded for those of you that aren't with us right here, right now. And for the rest of you, welcome. It's great to have you. Today's going to be a fairly straightforward meeting. It's going to be the usual things that we usually cover. So if you're here, go ahead and say hi. Bert Manhutsen were helping us get the sound, make sure that we were getting a sound check all good. So appreciate that. And we have a Jacob in the chat. So yay, awesome. Otherwise, we're going to do some triage. We have a few issues here, and then we will talk about more triage after that, about what we want to do in the future triage, and then we'll take questions and comments. So we're going to talk about bugs, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do with all the other bugs. That's what we're going to do today. Pretty straightforward meeting, which is okay. We had a WiX 601 came out. All that is all good. I guess I didn't even think about that. Did that come out last meeting? Oh gosh, I'm going to turn around.
It came out in June, so.
Yeah, it came out in June, right. So man, I totally left that out. Yeah, so WiX 601 is out there, has a number of bug fixes in it. The big one that people... a number of people were looking for were the files fix with multiple unnamed bind paths type thing. Anyway, so that's out there too.
I don't remember anything about that.
I forgot to celebrate 601.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so it went well. It went well. We had a GitHub outage. How did I forget all this? I put it out of my mind. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
Anyway, 601's out. The release itself has been great. Getting that release out that day was very challenging with the GitHub outage. And was there something else? Oh,
yeah, the build.
And then the build is breaking because of some other changes on GitHub side. That was not a good day. All right, I'm moving on. We're going to go do triage. You'll get to see a little bit in the issues because we have a few of them here to talk about. Bob, you ready to go talk about the triage issues here?
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. We're going to start with the oldest. I don't know where this one came from because it's currently in the WiX 3x milestone, so I'm curious what this is. 4864, add open EULA command. So separate save, just open.
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty sure
I was like, where did this come from? Bob brought it back.
Yeah, I brought it back after originally opening it because there was a request, and I'm guessing if we click that WiX toolset link. Oh, it did not redirect.
Yeah, that's not going to redirect yet.
Oh, well, that's
yeah. We should fix that. I think I could fix that.
The number should work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Someone says, "Let's print the EULA from WiX Standard BA." And I'm like, who the heck prints the EULAs?
Yes.
And I know there are, logistical, legal, compliance reasons. But I said, everyone has WordPad, which was true 10 years ago.
Oh, right.
And so I said, we should just, have a way to open the EULA with the default RTF editor. And then they can save it and they can print it, and everyone would be just gloriously happy. The problem is WordPad no longer included. There is no built-in RTF viewer, much less editor, which is problematic for some people because they relied on WordPad to emit the simplified RTF that the MSI rich edit control can handle. But that's a separate issue. Unfortunately, it means this particular issue is, this approach is bad. So I brought it back to discuss whether we should revive 4856. Because as Jacob points out, with print support, you can print to a PDF and everyone's happy because you get the file or you get print. And thinking about it, that's the cheapest way to get something that's actually usable, because again, there's no default RTF viewer.
It's sad that printing is the best way. out.
It's very sad. Very sad. Um, Also, in general, it's like how many people prefer the RTF theme, prefer the EULA in RTF compared to, hyperlinking. But again, separate question, separate issue.
So you want to bring print back?
Well, I want to bring the issue back. Well, Jacob, right now there's no print support at all. The idea behind the 4864 was to just do that, do a shell execute on a copy of the RTF file, which, of course, we've now locked down, so we can't do that anymore either.
Wait, why not? I mean,
Oh, it's only locked down. Sorry, it's locked down for write, not read.
yeah.
We
I
could
mean, you
still do
couldn't
that.
edit it, but that's probably a bonus.
That's probably a good thing, yeah. But right now, there's nothing. There's no shell execute. There's no print.
I see. So you're. I was saying, but we didn't do this button either, and we haven't had people complaining.
Yeah. Sorry. To be clear, I'm saying we should close 4864, reopen 4856, and put it up for grabs. And then go, yeah, but no one's asked for it in 10 years. So, I mean, we could just leave them both closed and say no one cares. That would be a perfectly valid lifestyle choice. I don't have strong opinions.
I don't either. We should get rid of this one because it's not going to work. We should close this one and note that it will not work.
Yeah, for sure.
HTML won't help, but I guess we could open HTML in the browser.
Yeah,
but
true.
Rendering that in place is
right.
a whole different
At
world.
a certain point, you're better off just using the hyperlink theme and linking to a URL.
Yeah. And did we? Yeah, this is closed. Okay. What a mess. Anyway, we should definitely close this one because it's not going to work. And if someone wants to bring print, I guess then that would have to be the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Windows. How did you hit this? Like, were you going through 3x bugs and said, "Hey, I'll look at this one"?
No, I was going through my bugs.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because I took it and said, "Oh, yeah, sure, that's easy. It's a shell execute button."
Yes, right.
And then I ignored it for 10 years. So
that's what I was thinking. All right,
I was on page 2 of my 2 pages of bugs.
Yes, got it. Okay. 9077, file writes outside a working directory when repacking an MSI file. Repacking an MSI file?
This is the install package stuff in DTF, which has a lot of like high-level functionality.
I'll still try to create from temp. Okay. Should stay within working directory.
This is interesting. So install package has the concept of the working directory, and it creates when it creates temporary files, it creates them in an explicit temp directory in the working directory, but it relies on other bits of DTF that do not have that concept of a working directory. So it just creates files in temp because
Okay.
that's what you do.
Sure. Don't care. I really don't care. So fine. Up for grabs.
Sure.
Yeah. Seriously, do not care. Um, 9079. Add exists option to product search result for matching other search types. Okay. Um, so they do a search. They want to do an exists. Oh, I see. So the got it. So they want a true false option as opposed to a two or knowing all the other states that come back from it.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Specifically for a checkbox.
Yeah. Someone
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah. I believe that there is a pull request that is not linked to this issue.
I see. All right.
Or it is linked, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's assign it to this person. Put it in 7 and all that kind of stuff, and we'll look at it.
Yep.
9080. Remove folders does not delete the profile directory when working with a variable.
Yeah,
This is documented.
well, it's more than that. It is documented. The problem is they're trying to use a literal value for a property, and that's not going to work. And in fact, there's a warning
This doesn't work
when
either.
you author that.
Yeah, this is not a bug. This
I
is
agree.
not a bug. All right, that's easy. Not a bug. I don't know. 9084. Project reference breaks files harvesting. This is one of the issues that we. Was this the one that survived all of them or whatever?
Sorry, survived all of.
Sorry, I thought there was more than one issue about the files. When multiple unnamed bind paths were added to your
No.
project,
No,
you
this
had
is
a.
unrelated to that.
Oh, this is unrelated to that.
This
Okay.
is unrelated to that. This is related to the someone made a weird decision that the that changes the default behavior of a relative path or a non-fully qualified path. What happens is if you have no unnamed bind paths, a relative path is resolved relative to the source file. If you have any unnamed bind paths, relative paths are resolved relative to the unnamed bind path, the first unnamed bind path.
Only the first unnamed bind path?
Yes. Unknown. I don't know. I think not, actually.
Yeah,
But I
is,
don't know.
Yeah, that's tricky.
It is a bad default. I fully acknowledge it and blame whoever did that. But and I went through this kind of same thought process during V5. And again during V6 when theoretically we could make behavior changes. I mean, I'd settle for not having support for relative paths at all. It's just like, it's a bad idea. This is what bind paths are for, especially the happily named bind paths. Zach, I think so. We've talked about it before, and then of course there was the bug that someone added where if you had multiple unnamed bind paths, the world died. This issue specifically is documented but poorly, or it was documented poorly and might still be documented poorly, but at least is now documented consistently to describe the two behaviors. I am not thrilled with this behavior, and I want to do something. I will open an issue to figure out what to do in V7. Just write up a simple whip. I don't know what it's going to be because there aren't great solutions. I would say that I probably feel pretty comfortable about not using, not supporting relative to the source paths.
I think it if I think relative to the source path and never changing that is an acceptable place.
Sorry, say that again.
Relative to the source file and never changing that is a very consistent and understandable behavior.
It is, but I think it is of questionable value.
I don't know. For small packages, it works really well, but yeah,
I'll write the whip, and we can
yeah,
talk about it next month.
yeah. But changing behavior based off online bypass, that's probably not great.
That's bad. Yeah. Completely agree. I
That's
completely
probably,
agree.
yeah. So if that goes away, does that? Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. Yep. Yep.
This
Yep.
this issue I solved, quote unquote, by clarifying the documentation.
Got it. All right.
It's
And now you
it is
want to write a
working
whip
as
about changing the
designed.
behavior.
Well, it's working as designed. The
Correct.
design is bad.
Correct. Now you want to talk
So
about changing the design, so that's fine. I got it. 9087 was one of those issues that came about from when trying to release 601. Something changed in the GitHub world, probably some, I don't know, base OS or I don't know, but the handling of max path of paths that are over max path changed because DUtil has some special handling for that that Burn attempts to use to be smarter about super long paths, and the defaults changed and broke the tests. And the tests were sensitive to that change. It's like max path is now just supported on whatever they did on the runners or on the images, and
yeah,
so
I
our
mean it's an
tests were
OS
like,
setting,
oh,
so
change it. It is an OS
you
setting.
can yeah
Okay.
you can turn it on, and you used to get back the prefixed whack whack question mark whack paths in those cases, and now they just you said it was okay, so
Yep.
you get the big long path.
There's that, and then we had a hang and another one. What was the hang one?
The hang was the temp directory stuff.
Okay. Did we figure that one out? I forgot.
No, I mean I don't know what happened
Okay.
to cause the hang.
Right.
I decided that the test was pretty bad
Yeah.
because essentially it was
Oh, it was
manipulating
manipulating the temp variable.
the TEMP
Yes.
variable to an invalid path
Yeah.
that was invalid only because it was a long file name,
Yeah.
which might have something to do with the hang,
Yeah.
and that caused the next call to the dutil function to get the temp path to fall back to the directory pointed to by TMP. The thing is that that's built into the Windows function.
Yeah.
So the test was testing Windows, which
Yeah.
I don't know. That seemed like
Unnecessary.
not a useful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was unnecessary.
Right. All right. Anyway, so yeah, so we had fun trying to get WiX 601, and the beautiful part of all this is everything had built a few days earlier just fine.
Yeah.
So it was like we do everything we can to try not to have problems, and then we had problems still. It's like the world is so hard to keep consistent. It's constantly shifting under your feet. Lots and
Well, and
lots
I've
of. So anyway,
identified another problem that affects local builds that that sooner or later the action runners are going to catch up.
yeah,
This is just
this
the
max
joy of
path thing was
Windows.
a total surprise though. All right, so but we survived. 601 happened, and there was much rejoicing. All right. MSI 9096 MSI lock permissions are not decompiled. That's kind of sad. Oh, oh, Bob opened this. I see. So got it. Right. They're not. They should be. Really, they just have not been decompiled all this time.
Yep. Well, sorry, I don't know when it started, but doesn't work in 6 at all.
All right. Well, good catch. I'll pull a request for that. Go look at that. We can put that at 7. All right. It's all set up. Cool. All right. And that is the issues for now. All right. Cool. That's great. So since we're here and we got through trash, and it's like it was quiet for a little bit, and now it's less quiet. So that's kind of interesting. Or this week we had a few issues after 601. So things keep happening. Let's look at older milestones now. V Future's empty, which is good. We did that last week, or last month. Sorry, last meeting. So we got that all set up for what's going into 7 from our point of view, and that leaves us with a couple milestones to go kill off. WiX 3X, milestone 3X has nothing in it. Is that right? I was going to say, wait, 3X has nothing in it? Does 4X have something in it?
No, 3X is plenty.
What is?
You're still labeled triage.
Oh, thank you. There are no triage issues in 3X, and that definitely should be.
That's good.
That's good. Okay. And now it makes me wonder, did Future have anything in it? No. Okay, good. All right. Okay, cool. I was not wrong about Future. I was like, we went through all these. All right. So we have plenty of, what do we have here? 399. So about 400 issues there. And then the 4X, which has been hanging around, 143. So we have like 500 and some issues to go decide what we want to do with. Bob, you have said in the past that we should go ahead and take a swing through all of these.
I have.
Do you still feel the same way?
One way or another, I think we need to reduce our open issue count.
Right. Okay. All right, because we have talked about closing issues as, we're not going to do these, but someone else could. So they'll be up for grabs, but closed, and be like, here, someone else could go pick them up if they wanted to. So this sweep would be essentially doing that or bringing them up to get fixed by someone that wants to hang out around here. The intent then being to trim our bugs down to 0 bugs that we aren't like looking at. Or
0 is an aggressive target, but essentially, yeah.
But yeah, so it'd probably be any bug that's up for grabs and older than a year or something along those lines. We'll just like close out as closed, as we're not thinking anybody's going to get to this. But if someone wanted to, they could. But it's been around for a year and nobody showed up, so it can't be that important to anybody.
Well,
and go from there.
Again, a year is aggressive.
You think a year is aggressive? What do we have to do? 2 years? 5 years?
Well, dude, I mean
we could go back to 2004
first issue
here.
that you're looking at right there? Yeah, 2004. Sorry, I don't want to put a you're talking about two different things, right? I agree. At a certain point, if it's been up for grabs for some length of time, open, and no one has touched it, it's probably not going to get touched.
Right.
And that, at a certain point, it's probably reasonable to leave it up for grabs, but close it.
Yeah, and Jacob, we need to go decide the final way that we want to go put these frozen bugs that are, if you want to go in and take it, you can, but we're not doing that. And is it a milestone or is it a status or whatnot? Yeah, that's a thing to figure out. I'm inclined to just leave it up for grabs and close, because if we marked it up for grabs, we're like, yeah, okay. Someone could do that. And if it's closed, then it's still for grabs. When we close it, we do need to say, hey, if you want this,
right,
drop a message on it and you can work on it.
Yeah, and that's the stale message,
Right.
right?
That's this has gone stale. Nobody's been interested in it in a long time, whatever that long time
Whatever that is,
unit
yeah.
is, and we'll just put it out there. Because I mean, there are a lot of things that yeah we could do that, but it's been a long time. Someone just drove by and said, "Hey, I want you to fix this," and we're like, and they're like, I don't need it that much anyway. Like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah. Now
Allow
that
managed
said,
servers and class settlement. It's like, yeah,
the other thing that we have to look at is is which things don't even go up for grabs.
yeah. So
And that's
that's the
the long that's a
harder.
long haul.
Yeah, that's the harder. That's the I assume that's the value you're getting that you want to get out of the going through all the issues, which is yeah, we're not doing this anymore. This is not a
Right.
thing for us to do anymore. We kept it
Yep.
open for maybe a good reason or maybe no reason, but yeah, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, well, part of it I think part of it is that we were especially say 2004, we were very generous about, new features and let's bring this stuff on. But I think, we do get to a point where it's like, no, this isn't a good idea. You know, we this is not something that provides enough value, or it clutters the language. It's like, no, we should, especially with the ones that are 15 or
Like
20 years old, say, yeah, we've learned since then.
like nested preprocessor variables. We might just go, yeah, no.
Right, right, right.
I don't know. Just going around through here.
Well, except you can do some nesting of preprocessor variables. So
Hey, support for WiX patch to WiX 2010. We have another one of these open for newer, I think. Anyway, there's all kinds of ancient things here.
yeah, and I think so. In my mind, this is something that can happen very quickly, like without even really needing to read the bug. The title alone might give us all the information that we need. So it's like we can go through 25 of these in an average triage. Is my complete assertion.
We can go through 25 of these. So we can go through a page of these in a. We'll go through 25. So that'll take us 2 years if we go
Yeah,
through 25 of them. All right. At our current rate of everything.
right. And I could be completely wrong, and it could vary from month to month.
Yeah.
It's probably going to slow down. I'd say it's probably going to slow down as we get closer
Correct.
to
Like if I jump here
modern
to more
bugs.
current issues, then we'll have to think about that. Or maybe we don't have to think about them as much. So,
Yeah, right. It could go either way.
although honestly, we're just like going, yeah, put it up for grabs. Someone can pick it up. There you go.
Right.
It's not a bad idea. All right, there we go. Next.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, like remove the 160 character limit for custom action entry points. Okay, up for grabs and closed.
Yep.
This
Although
is like,
that's only 3 years old. Is that?
well,
Is that
but
that in the range? Oh, that's in
no,
the range. Then all of our bugs are probably old enough. Then
probably, yeah.
that's actually pretty good. Then.
I'm saying, to an extent, we can also make that judgment.
Okay.
I'm kind of embracing the idea that as we go through the older bugs, we don't need to keep them open. I like the idea of keeping them open for a number of years when they're new, when they just come in.
Got it.
But stuff from 3 years ago, or 20 years ago, has been around long enough for people to go, oh, that's interesting.
All right, and then we have 152. I was trying to get the query right here. We have 152 that are no
Oh, I forgot about that.
no milestone that we would need to go back and do the same thing to them.
Oh,
Because all of the ones that you were just talking, all the WiX 3 and WiX 4 are from 2022. So the earliest one here, well, we have 2013s and mixed in here. So we have some older ones that we brought forward. 2020. Yeah, so 2023. So yeah, we get to, we have 50 plus in here. Yeah, and there's a number of up for grabs in here that are no issue. And it's
Oh
just a
well,
matter of,
that's actually sorry. That makes sense, right? That's what we
oh,
did.
yes.
That's what when we started using up for grabs. If it was not, if someone wasn't signing up for it,
Okay,
then it
actually,
was
that's better. 50. All right, there are 50 that are
okay.
not up for grabs. And honestly, a lot of those might be, okay, yeah, that's actually better.
Yep.
And not assigned. There we go. Now we're down to 16. Okay, yeah, now we're on one page. Yeah, that's
Yep.
much better. All right. How did this get through triage without being? Oh, it's not. Oh, we just did this one. Okay, it's like how'd this get through triage? It's not. It's in triage. There we go. 2024. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it sounds like we're going to add that, and go through a bunch of these, and we'll see where we end up. And I will get the final process together. I have a process from a long time ago that we were doing, or we were going to do, and I'll just refine that, and make sure that it will work for us with the ability to close issues that are marked up for grabs,
Okay.
and all that kind of good
Cool.
stuff. And we'll just start cleaning out the backlog of things that are around, and then people can go pick up, other items in the future if they want. All right. Questions, comments, other things people want to talk about. It looks like we're going to add a triage step, a longer triage step. Or I guess we'll adjust to see how many issues we have to triage each week to decide how many more we want to do after that set.
Right.
Like today, we probably could. I don't feel like doing it right now, but we probably could go through and pick up a page of really old bugs. You're right. After the set that we already did,
Yep.
that would be too bad. All right, the next WiX meeting is a month from now, which would be the third Wednesday of July. We get into some longer. So yeah, July has 5 Wednesdays in it. 1, 2, yeah, 3, 4, 5. So that'll be neat. But the WiX meeting is always on the third Wednesday. The replay of the Deployment Dojo comes out next week. So if you missed the Deployment Dojo on the 4th, the replay comes out on the 25th, so a week from today. And then the week after that, July 2nd, the Deployment Dojo live show, the next episode live show comes out. In the last one, Bob joined the Fire Giant Cinematic Universe, and it was fun. I think he learned a couple things.
Yeah.
Something.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. I think what we're looking at here for quite a bit is a lot of triage and things like that. WiX 7 is underway, so if you have a WiX 7 issue you want to be working on, let's go ahead and do that. Things have already started in that front, and I've hopefully delayed long enough that if anybody had a question, they've got it typed in by now and it's come in, but doesn't look like it. So I think that's where we're at. I also saw that Ron jumped in while they're middle of triage. So Ron, welcome. Great to have you. And I guess that's that. All right. I've run out of things to talk about. We'll be back. I'll be online at this sort of place on the Fire Giant channel doing Deployment Dojo in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, the July 16th, we will be doing this next meeting on WiX toolset, and we will probably be triaging some really old ancient issues. Until then, you guys have a good time. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.